Welcome to the Microsoft 365 Cloud. Whether your organization has moved to the Microsoft Commercial Cloud, the Government Community Cloud, or the GCC High, there are a few things that you'll need to check, reconfigure, and reset up on your workstation and mobile device. This is so that you can get your email, use your apps, and well, just get your work done. What's up everyone? This is Reilly from LiftOff, coming to you once again from Maryland, USA. Today's video is all about end user workstation and mobile configuration after a cutover to Microsoft 365. There's a bunch of stuff that needs to be done on your workstation and mobile device so that you can use Microsoft 365. Things like, how do I access the new Webmail system? How do I set up MFA? Does anything change with my Microsoft apps? How do I create a local Outlook profile to get my mail? I'd like to sync OneDrive, SharePoint, and maybe Teams down to my local device. How do I do that? And finally, how do I configure my iPhone or Android to work with the new Microsoft 365 system? Enough from me. Without further ado, let's get to how to configure an end user workstation after a cutover to Microsoft 365. Okay, here we go. After a cutover to the Microsoft Cloud, the first thing you need to know is how to log into your new Webmail mailbox. This will allow you to send and receive email until your local Outlook profile is set up in a later step. I prefer to use an incognito or in private browser session, and it really doesn't matter which browser you use. I'm using Edge here, but you could use Firefox, Safari, or Brave, or Chrome, or whatever. If your organization has moved to the commercial or the government community cloud, the URL is outlook.office.com. If your organization has moved to the GCC High, the URL is different. It's outlook.office365.us. For this demonstration, I'm going to use the GCC High webmail URL. Even if you don't plan on using webmail for very long, this step is very important because we're going to test your mailbox access and set up multi-factor authentication on your account. Here you can enter your normal username or email address, which of course you should already know. Click Next. For the password, your helpful IT staff will have communicated this to you previously. This will either be a temporary password, which you can enter here and then establish your permanent password, or in many cases, this will be your everyday computer network password that you should already know as well. In my case, I'm using a temporary password and then will establish my permanent password later. More information required. This is multi-factor authentication, or MFA. When you sign into your account for the first time, you need more than just a username and password. You need a second verification method, a second factor, to prove who you are. Compromised passwords are one of the most common ways that bad guys can steal your identity, get your data, and even cost your organization a lot of money. Using MFA is one of the easiest ways to make it a lot harder for those bad guys. On this screen, we're going to click Next. A great second factor to use is the Microsoft Authenticator app on your iPhone or Android device. Following the instructions on the screen, I'm going to download and install the Microsoft Authenticator app and then choose Next here. Now, moving over to my phone, I want to open up the newly installed Microsoft Authenticator app. Then add a new account, which is a work or school account. And then after I do that, I click Next on the computer. And there's a QR code for me to scan. In the Authenticator app, I'm going to choose Scan QR Code. There we go. I'll choose Next. Here is a number matching code on the computer that I put into the Authenticator app to finish out the process. There we go. It's approved. I'll click Next. My Authenticator app was successfully registered and it's my default sign-in method. I'll choose Done. And I'll choose Yes to stay signed in. And there you have it. We are now into our new Microsoft 365 Webmail. If you plan on using Microsoft Webmail long term, there are certain adjustments and customizations that you might want to make. Here are a few things to consider. First, if you click the gear icon in the upper right part of the screen, you can check your language and time zone to be sure that they're set correctly. This is under the General sub-tab here. Under Appearances, if you'd like to customize a theme for your webmail, go ahead and choose something down here. I'll go ahead and choose that one. Something that most people don't like in Microsoft 365 Webmail is the focused inbox. So you can see here at the top of my screen, I've got a focused inbox and I've got an other inbox. Now, Microsoft is trying to use machine learning to figure out what emails are important to you. It moves those emails into the focused inbox, while things that are less important, maybe some newsletters or bulk emails, it could move into the other mailbox. So in my experience, this doesn't work perfectly, and I feel like I'm missing emails sometimes. So I like to turn off the focused inbox so I have one classic traditional inbox like I've always had. Gear icon, focused inbox. I don't want to sort my messages here. And I'll choose Save. So now I just have the one inbox. Next, by default, Microsoft organizes your emails into something called Conversation View. Messages that are going back and forth that are part of the same thread and contain the same subject line are grouped together. That's indicated here with this little bracket. Now, if I click this, you'll see that this one message is actually 5 or 6 messages that I've been sending back and forth to people on my team. I don't like this at all. I feel like I'm missing messages, so I'd like to turn it off. If I click it once again, the gear icon, and then come down here to message organization, I don't want my emails grouped by conversation, so I'll show them as individual messages. Now notice that I have a traditional inbox here where each message has its own line. It's not grouped together. If you'd like to set up an email signature in Webmail, you can do that here again in Settings by clicking the gear icon, Compose and Reply, New Signature, give your signature a name, put your information in, click Save, and then choose to use your new signature for new messages and replies, and click Save once again. Next, moving to your new calendar, there are a few adjustments that you may need to make. First, if you previously shared your calendar with a colleague, you'll need to reshare with them. Do that by clicking Share here and then choosing your sharing partner. Some migrated meetings may need to be adjusted. Calendar items that are more like reminders, events, or appointments, like this dentist appointment or this birthday reminder, are totally fine. However, items in which you booked a conference room or created a Teams online meeting link need to be adjusted. For example, notice I have a migrated meeting here that's pointing at what's called the old conference room. This is a conference room that I had booked in the old system. If I edit this, what I want to do is to X out of the old conference room, and I want to rebook the new GCC High conference room. So this new conference room should be named similarly to what you had in the old system. If you're not sure, you should ask your IT department. My new conference room is called the GCC High conference room. So I'll choose that and then send to book the room. Notice this meeting on Friday. It's a migrated recurring Teams online meeting. I know I need to edit this meeting because the Teams meeting link is pointing at the old system and I need to create a new link pointing at the new system. The easiest way to do this is to delete this meeting and then recreate it. So if I click into the meeting, cancel all events in the series, and then send. Now I just want to recreate that meeting in the new system. I know it was from 11 to 1. I know what my title was. And my attendee is Brian. I'll go ahead and send that off. And that's going to reestablish a new Microsoft Teams online meeting link, which will be functional in the GCC High. If you have a Microsoft 365 license that includes the latest and greatest Microsoft apps like Outlook, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, you'll need to reactivate your apps to align with the new Microsoft 365 system. If you don't yet have Microsoft apps on your workstation, please contact your IT department for different instructions. Open any Microsoft app, for example, Word, and then click on your picture in the upper right part of the screen. Choose Sign Out to sign out of your old apps. You might have another account that's signed in, and if you do, just click Sign Out once again. Then click Sign In, and sign in with your new system's email address. If you get this prompt, choose Work or School account. Enter your password. Choose Sign In. Now you need to satisfy your MFA requirement here. There you go. Your Microsoft apps are now aligned with your new GCC or GCC High Microsoft 365 account. Another app that you want to reactivate and associate with your new GCC or GCC High account is Teams. In your Teams app, if you choose the account option up here, I'm logged in as a user. That is not the user that I want to be logged in as. So I'm going to click Sign Out. I'm going to sign out again. Now I'm going to sign in using a different account. The Authenticator app and MFA are threaded through everything here. I'm going to sign into this app only. And there you go. Your local Teams app is now aligned with your new GCC or GCC High account. If you plan to use only Webmail in the future, you can skip this next step. You're good to go in the new email system. However, if you'd like to use the full functionality of the local desktop Outlook app, the next step is to create a new profile and connect it to your GCC or GCC High mailbox. In your Windows search box, type Control Panel and choose the Mail app. Show Profiles, and then remove your old profile. Click Add. Give your new profile a name. Click OK. Here you want to put in your email address and your password for your new email system. Click Next. Click Finish. Choose to either prompt for an Outlook profile to be used, or more commonly, choose Always Use This New Profile, and then OK. Close Control Panel. Search for the Outlook app. Now, the new Outlook app is not what you want here. This is lacking in functionality and is very, very limited. It's not yet even compatible with the GCC High. Instead, you want to use the Outlook Classic app here. There you go. You've now connected Outlook to your new email system. The next step is completely optional and possibly irrelevant if you've never synced OneDrive, SharePoint, and Teams down to your local workstation. However, if you've previously synced your old OneDrive in the old system, you're going to want to unsync that old library and resync the new one. Here's how. Locate the blue cloud icon on the bottom right part of your screen in the system tray. If you click it, notice how I'm syncing a OneDrive, and it's an old OneDrive. It's not one that I want to be syncing. If I click the gear icon and then Settings, I can see that this account is not one that I want to be syncing right now. So I'm going to click Unlink this PC. Unlink account. Now I have the opportunity to set up another OneDrive. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my email address or my username for the OneDrive that I want to sync in the new system. I'll click Sign In. If I click Next here, I have a conflict because it sees my old OneDrive folder already in File Explorer. I'm going to choose New Folder here. And then if I go to See, Users, my name, these are going to be all of the old OneDrives that I was previously syncing. So just to be safe, I think I'll create a new folder here for this OneDrive library. Let's call it New OneDrive. I'll click in there and say select this folder. That way I'll be sure that I'm not deleting something that I might need or even creating duplicates in another folder. The OneDrive Sync client is pretty amazing. It offers me the opportunity to actually back up folders from my local PC up to the cloud. So for example, I can choose almost a gigabyte of data in my Documents folder on this computer. I can also choose my pictures and desktop. I don't have very much there. For this demonstration, I'm actually not going to do this, so I'll slide those off, but I definitely encourage you to use the backup feature of the OneDrive Sync client. And choose Next, 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 Later, and then open my OneDrive folder. And you can see now that I've got a local OneDrive folder sync now right here. On the left is my cloud OneDrive. This is my good OneDrive. Over here on my right is my local PC. Everything is synced up with the cloud icon. I am good to go. Let's talk about mobiles for a moment. If you'd like to connect your iPhone or Android device to your GCC or GCC High mailbox, you can absolutely do that. The preference is to use the Microsoft Outlook for Mobile app. Before I show you how to get that app and connect your account, I want to point out this web page from Microsoft, which has a few important details about mobile connectivity in the GCC and GCC High. First, if you notice this paragraph here, it talks about some of the security and compliance requirements that are met with the Outlook mobile app from Microsoft. Something else to point out a little bit farther down the page is this multiple accounts section. Only the user's Office 365 GCC, that's GCC Moderate or GCC High, and OneDrive account can be added to a single device. Personal accounts can't be added. So that means only your GCC or GCC High mailbox can be inside of your Outlook mobile application. Personal accounts will need to use a different method of connectivity on your iPhone and Android, such as an active sync client, which is just the native mail client on the iPhone and Android. Or if you have a Gmail account, the Gmail app. Now, I'll show you how to get the Microsoft Outlook for Mobile app and get it connected. First, navigate to the App Store on your iPhone or Android. Search for the app called Outlook for Mobile. There it is. I already have it, so I am just going to open it up. Make sure it is the Outlook app from Microsoft and not a different app. Click Add an Account. If it tries to set up a different account, click Skip here. And then you actually want to put in your true account. Go ahead and put that in and click Add Account. This is tied in with your Authenticator app in MFA, so open the Authenticator. Just follow the instructions on your phone. Next, we're going to put in your password. Click Sign In. U.S. government account detected. And remember, if you have other personal accounts using the Outlook app on your phone, this process is actually going to purge those accounts, so you have to be careful. Close the app, reopen it, enable notifications or not, whatever you'd like to do. Come back to the app, and there you go. You can, in this case, click on the A button in the upper left just to see that your account is there, and you are good to go on your mobile device.